Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Gamers Board Game Reviews. Today, I take you back 10 to 15 years ago when computers just started coming out. Games such as Mario Teaches Typing, Odell Lake, and Math Blaster were really prominent back then, and if you were a kid back when computers first started coming out, you remember probably going into your elementary school and playing these games on those big block-like white computers with those huge mechanical keyboards. One game you're probably never going to forget, however, is called Oregon Trail. You've died of dysentery. Now, if you have played Oregon Trail, which I imagine most of you have, you may or may not know that they've come out with a card game. Oregon Trail, made by Pressman, is now a card game. Oregon Trail has been a game since as long as I can remember as far as computers date back, and most people remember playing that game and how difficult it was. In fact, the big key phrase in the Oregon Trail is, "You have died of dysentery." Now, what exactly is the Oregon Trail card game? Is it a good game to pick up? We'll show you right now, and you can judge for yourself. Okay guys, welcome to the Oregon Trail card game. Now the first thing you want to do is select a player count from 2 to 6 players. If you're playing with 3 players, you write down 3 different players' names. Just like in the game itself, you can pretty much put in whatever name you want. Afterwards, you will then each draw 5 trail cards and 5 supply cards. Now, usually you'll take this whole stack of supply cards here, shuffle them all up, and deal 5 out to each and every single player. Once that is done, the game will begin. Now, as you can see, you have an Independence, Missouri, and Willamette Valley, Oregon over here. So, your objective is to get from Independence to Willamette. If you can do that, you win the game. Now, there's going to be a lot of trials and tribulations along the way, so be prepared for a very rough journey. Now, the original game on computer was very difficult, so expect this to be just as difficult. On your turn, you can do one of 2 things. You can either play a card, or you can play a supply card, or you can play a trail card. If you choose to play a trail card, you go ahead and look through the trail cards in your hand, you pick one up, and place it. And it has to be selected like this, horizontally. Now, once you do that, you read what the card says and do it. So this one says to draw a calamity after you press spacebar to continue. Great. Calamity card. This one is cholera. You'll need 2 medicine cards to secure it, and if you can't, the next time cholera is drawn, you die. This specifically goes to the player who drew it. So I would receive cholera, and the next time cholera is drawn, I'm in trouble. Now, I can't play one of these supply cards if I have them in my hand, because I've already placed. Because you can only place or play cards. So once that is done, the next player will go, and they'll pick a card, which this will be also for demonstrational purposes their hand, and they'll place a card down. This one also says press spacebar to continue. You do so, and you draw a card. Hopefully in the game you actually don't press spacebar to continue, although the rules kind of do imply that you should. This one says inadequate grass. If 2 inadequate grass cards are face up, then 2 oxen die, 1 round of play without an oxen card, and everyone in your party has died. So you got to kind of be aware that there's going to be a lot of cards like this, and usually you'll need to play certain cards to remove them. And if you don't, after a certain round, they'll kill you. So this one will go on the board right here, and you'll just leave it there. For that player's turn, because they place, they can't get rid of my cholera. So if cholera is ever drawn again on the next player's turn, I would die. Now, basically you're going to keep going on and on and on and playing cards. They do different things. This one will make you roll a die, and if you don't roll an even number, you'll lose a supply card, which really sucks. And you see how I'm placing these. So you'll notice on the next player's turn, after the next player's turn, I can't actually play one of these cards. So all I can do is draw. Great, and that would be the end of my turn. And then the next player would go, and if they can't do anything, they would have to draw. Oh, luckily they got one, so they'd place it. Now, eventually, you're going to have 5 cards here. Once you do that, you take all of the cards, and you place them in a stack. After 10 stacks, if you can complete all 10 stacks of 5, you'll win the game. That's pretty much how the game goes. Now, it seems very simple, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be very complicated, and it's really not, but the problem is, you don't get a lot of supply cards in this game. So, when your starting hand is 5 cards, you need to use them very sparingly, and sometimes it is better to let someone die and be removed from the game than actually use a bunch of cards and not have them later on. So that's basically the game. There's not much else to it other than there's tons of different calamities. Sometimes you're going to run into a town, or sometimes you're going to run into a river or a fort. Tons of different ways to go throughout the Oregon Trail. Hopefully you'll make it there. What do I think? Let's find out. Alright guys, so that's basically the game, The Oregon Trail, the card game. Is it a good game? Yeah, it's fairly decent, especially if you want that nostalgia feel. Going back into your childhood and playing on those big mechanical keyboards, looking at the big box-like computer screen, it does that. It has that appeal. The game itself, the graphics, they're very pixely, and they draw you in. You're going to lose. You're going to die. If you don't play with more than 5 players, do not expect to win. But that's okay, because when I remember playing as a kid, I never expected to win, and that was kind of the fun of it. I do wish, however, that they gave you kind of an option at the beginning of the game to be a banker or a farmer and get more supplies or something like that, but they don't do that in this game. However, everything else is pretty well done. In fact, when you die, if you want, they have little gravestone markers for each and every single one of you, and you can go ahead and mark your character's death and write a little eulogy in commemoration of how well they tried to get across the Oregon Trail. So the game's good. Pick it up if you feel that it is something that you would be nostalgia for, or just a simple cooperative card game. It's pretty cheap. It's like $15 even on Amazon or Target. I found mine at the Goodwill for $3, so that's probably why I picked it up. Originally I heard about it and I still was like, yeah, I've got the nostalgia feels for it, but I don't know if it's actually going to be worth it to me. I'm glad I picked it up. If you can find it for less than $15, I would suggest it as well. So that's my review. Unfilteredgamer.com for more content and blogs. We have a giveaway going on unfilteredgamer.com/giveaways-events. I would also suggest you check out everythingboardgames.com. They have wonderful giveaways all the time, and their content is spectacular. They've got the newest Kickstarters going on. Check them out. The other site I would recommend you checking out is also the board game giveaways, the Giveaway Geek, thegiveawaygeek.com. Another great site for board game giveaways. Tons of them going on all the time. Free. I've never heard any complaints. I really suggest you guys looking at them. Thanks for taking a gander at my review, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next review. See you later.